Who is more powerful, the goddess Sekhmet or Dracula? Which one would win in a fight? Tell me in the comments. Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I'm the Monio, the interdimensional demon who talks most about Castlevania on YouTube, and you're on my channel. And finally we have the full trailer for the second season of Castlevania Nocturne, and there are some very interesting and unexpected things in this trailer, which show where the story will go, and a possibility for the series to adapt Symphony of the Night, but we'll get to that. At the beginning of the trailer, we can see the priest, Maria's father, who is still alive and will probably have a big role in the story, since he has agreements with the vampires who serve the goddess Sekhmet, so he will probably be another one of the goddess's lackeys. Then we see the goddess Sekhmet herself releasing her magical power and Richter Belmont trying to face her, and as we saw at the end of the first season, the goddess is extremely powerful and Richter couldn't even touch her, so probably in this scene, he must already be more powerful. He will probably train with Alucard to become stronger and perfect his magic. Another interesting thing about the trailer is that we see Richter fighting with what at first seems to be the goddess Sekhmet, but in fact it is Drolta, that enemy from the first season, who had apparently been killed by Alucard, since a few scenes later she appears in a modified form, which looks a lot like a gargoyle, but with some sharp tentacles that she uses to attack enemies, including Alucard. In this scene we can see the goddess Sekhmet being shot by cannons, which shows that humanity will join this war, and then we can see that Sekhmet attacks Alucard directly, and this should probably be a scene at the beginning of a possible fight between the two, and despite being very powerful, I don't think Alucard can defeat the goddess, not alone, in the same way that he couldn't defeat his father alone in the other animation, but if it were Dracula against Sekhmet, I believe we would have a very balanced fight, with a possible victory for Dracula if he were fighting at full power. Another really cool fight will be this one with just Belmont, in which he appears with these blades that look like kunai on the sleeves of his clothes, and he will use them to fight Tara, Maria's mother, who was turned into a vampire by the goddess at the end of the first season. Here she already appears, showing that she has completely mastered her vampire abilities, especially her speed. This will be a very interesting fight since Tara is a mage who has powers of fire and ice, very similar to what Sypha did in the other animation. This will be a character that I think will not be saved. She will probably need to be killed to be freed. Another highlight of the trailer is Maria, who is already much stronger, and in this scene, we can see her summoning a dragon, which is a great evolution compared to the beginning of the first season, when she only summoned some birds. We have a scene with Aurochs, who, for those who don't remember, was the vampire who killed Richter's mother, and I would say that he is one of the most interesting characters in the series, because his motivations are very ambiguous, and his real intentions are still unknown, but I bet that he will have a great relevance in the story, perhaps even participating in the process of defeating Sekhmet. We have a scene with Richter in which it seems that he has gained even more power, and this will probably be the result of training with Alucard. But what draws the most attention now that Alucard is part of the trio of protagonists is that there is a real chance that the series will adapt the famous game, Symphony of the Night, in the future, since the goddess Sekhmet will probably be defeated in this second season, and we will have a new enemy, which could be Dracula himself. And yes, from what we know, Dracula is alive in this universe, since he is revived at the end of Trevor's saga. And let's remember that Symphony of the Night takes place precisely when Richter Belmont is missing, and Alucard has to go alone to face his father. This can be easily adapted if, at the end of the second season, Richter disappears after defeating the goddess, and Dracula's castle reappears somewhere, showing that it is likely that Dracula is the real enemy. But to be quite honest, as much as I have a lot of affection and nostalgia for the game Symphony of the Night, I think it would be more interesting if Dracula was on his son's side, and we could have a fight between Dracula and Sekhmet, since they are two extremely powerful characters, who we would all like to see fight. But what about you? Do you have high expectations for the second season? Do you think we will have the adaptation of Symphony of the Night? Write that in the comments, and if you like the video, subscribe to follow the next content. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.